and welcome. Tonight, impeachment saga unfolds in the Enugu State House of Assembly. 15 members serve notice on the governor. 8 members move to remove the speaker. Finance Minister promises disappearance of fuel queues as government pledges to pay major marketers outstanding claims. PDP leadership blames Presidential Campaign Management Committee for party's defeat in the March 28 polls. And 3 protesters killed in Burundi's capital Bujumbura in renewed demonstrations against President Pierre Nkurunziza.
On Business News tonight, Nigeria's purchasing managers index shows manufacturing growth declined marginally from 58.2 in March to 54.2 in April.
And on Sports News tonight, Super Falcons player Azizat Oshuala wants quality friendlies to aid Nigeria's preparation for the World Cup in Canada.
We begin tonight with the impeachment saga unfolding in the Enugu State House of Assembly, where the Speaker, Honorable Eugene Odoh, is said to have been removed by 8 out of 24 members. Trouble began when the State Governor, Sullivan Chime, requested 11 billion naira to execute a secretariat project, but was turned down by the Assembly. According to the lawmakers, the Governor had less than a month to hand over to a new administration, and it didn't make sense for him to ask for such a huge amount. 15 of the lawmakers then served Governor Chime a notice of impeachment, accusing him of high-handedness and corruption. However, some of the members said to be loyal to the governor in turn moved to impeach the speaker, accusing him of being self-centered and uncooperative.
I'm really shocked at our present democracy that a governor who is a lawyer for about 34 years standing in the bar could champion 8 people sitting down to remove a speaker when you know that he requires 2/3. I mean, it is a shame to democracy. It is a shame to democracy. I'm equally ashamed as I'm speaking this. There's nothing like a removal of the speaker. What they've merely done, it is a mere exercise in futility. And again, to show the world the kind of impunity going on in the Enugu State.
The process is the House of Assembly no longer wants you. You leave. Simple. No process. Don't forget what the grandstanding they make. The only process is in removing an elected governor. That is where process comes in. Within the House, the only thing you need is simple majority to remove any member, not remove him from representing his constituency, but removing him as a principal officer. That was just what we did.
In the meantime, the office of the Enugu State Governor has denied receiving any impeachment order served on Governor Sullivan Chime by the Enugu State House of Assembly. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Chukwudi Achife, said the accusations leveled against the Governor by 15 lawmakers were unfounded and intended to tarnish the image of the Governor. He accused the House, led by the Speaker, Eugene Odoh, of fomenting lies against the Governor to justify their actions.
No notice could even ever be served. It's not possible because if, for example, somebody has been suspended, immediately upon the pronouncement by the House of the person's suspension, he can act. How can anybody be so callous to accuse the governor of Enugu State, a man known for his principles of forgery? Then he forged in 2012, and we are talking about in 2015. If anybody has any case of forgery to answer, these are the people who are making the allegations.
Well, following that action, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Eugene Odoh, is said to have been impeached by 8 of the 24 members of the House. The members are believed to be those loyal to Governor Sullivan Cmte. The lawmakers who carried out the impeachment accused the Speaker of being self-centered and uncooperative. Now, long queues at petrol stations across the country will soon disappear, and this is according to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who says the payment of outstanding claims to petroleum marketers has now been effected. Speaking after a meeting that lasted over 2 hours with the marketers in Abuja today, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala thanked Nigerians for their patience during the period of the scarcity of the product. She also asked the marketers to ensure steady supply of petroleum products. Well, after several days since the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, announced the payment of the monies owed petroleum marketers, the positive effect of that action on the scarcity of petrol has not yet been felt on a large scale in most parts of the country. In the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, some filling stations are opened and started selling the commodity. Meanwhile, long queues are seen while many residents go around with containers in search of the product. Our correspondent Sheol Kimbale, who visited some of the filling stations in the city today, reports on how Lagosians are living with the situation.
It is perhaps a natural resource we own too many on the ground, and one ironically, its scarcity has recently caused more pains to many Nigerians. Petrol, premium motor spirit, is perhaps a most widely demanded petroleum product for the majority of Nigerians. Most Nigerians in the nation's commercial capital woke up to some filling stations selling, and find vehicular traffic on some major roads is sometimes due to the long queues from the filling stations. Frustration for some, disgust for others. Several hours of queuing up have a way of unsettling anyone.
Really bad. I didn't go to church yesterday because I was trying to save the little fuel I have on my car. I quickly dropped the kids this morning, came out to see if I could get something before going back to pick them. It's really bad. I don't know, I'm so frustrated. I see why people are running away from this country. I see why people are running away from Nigeria.
Those whose businesses rely solely on the product, like Jalili here, are left with no alternative to livelihood. Jalili's vulcanizing machine can only accommodate just 1 liter of petrol. Even that, it cannot get. Amos makes ends meet for his wife and 3 children with his motorcycle, which he rides in one of the inner streets in the interior part of town. He could only manage to push this motorcycle to this filling station without a drop of petrol in it. On getting here, the product is not available. At this barber shop, Bolaji could ignore using the generator to power his clippers. That is, if electricity is there, but unfortunately, that is hardly the case. He must now use the generator, but without petrol, that is impossible. Running his business is at risk. He now resorting to getting the scarce product on the black market, but now very expensive.
It's a better business because the money is too much. For buying 10 liters, 3,000 naira.
It may beat the imagination of most Nigerians for a product this valuable to be scarce, despite the fact that it is one thing we have in abundance as natural resource. How fast normalcy returns is what most Nigerians can readily reckon now. Sheol Kimbale, reporting for Channels Television News.
Now, look at politics. The blame game among the leadership of the People's Democratic Party continues following the defeat of the party in the 2015 general elections. At this time, the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Olisa Metuh, says the poor management of PDP Presidential Campaign Committee led to its failure in the presidential election. Briefing journalists in Abuja, Mr. Metuh also absolved the party's National Working Committee mismanagement of the funds budgeted for the presidential campaign. Now, according to Metuh, the PDP spent over 4 billion naira out of the over 7 billion it generated from the sales of funds to prosecute the campaigns of the president and other candidates during the elections. The President Goodluck Jonathan flew into Lagos this afternoon for a private visit. The President's aircraft touched down at about 3:10 p.m. He alighted from the aircraft about 4 minutes later. He proceeded to a helicopter which most times takes him to the State House in Marina. But this time, according to a source in the presidency, President Jonathan made his way to the redemption camp along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. He was said to have had a private meeting with the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, who was said to have lasted less than an hour. Well, in Petrol, after the break, trial judge fixes judgment day for money laundering case against former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode. Stay with us.